It's great to be here today. And I'm going to tell you why it's great to be here today, because every day that you get a chance to talk to other coaches to make yourself better or try to make other coaches better by teaching them what you know or what you've learned from other coaches is what this game is all about. Having players sit over here and take notes while coaches are talking. Do you understand how different you are than most programs? There's value in what you're doing, okay? First off, it ain't hot. Like, I don't get that whole, it's hot, we've been here all day. What's the alternative, right? What's the alternative? We got a no complaining rule in our program. No complaining, period. Complaining gets you nowhere. It gets you nowhere. It can be 100 degrees. I can be out here for 12 days. I'm on the field doing what I love. And I'll do it every day. And there ain't no way that you can ever tell me that I'm going to be tired on a baseball field. Don't happen. It don't happen. We had the lady talk to us about confidence, okay? I'll give you my pointer on confidence, okay? Confidence is acting differently than you feel. You want to know what it's like to have confidence? Understanding and being okay with the fact that you aren't confident. You think coaches don't get insecure about the decisions they make? You don't wake up in the morning during baseball season worrying to death if you've prepared your team? Even when you know you have. You're still going to worry because you care. You're still going to wonder when you got that big game on Friday night against a big opponent. You tell you guys, hey man, we play all the games the same. But as a coach, you got to have that poker face. You got to act differently than you feel. You're going to have butterflies. You're going to wonder if you're making the right decisions or not, right? And when you lose 3 games in a row, you got to show up here every day and make sure those guys feel confident. How you do it? You do it by acting differently than you feel, okay? If you want to feel confident, you got to act confident. You're not just going to feel a certain way. Feelings don't get you anywhere. Feelings don't get you anywhere. We all feel good, bad, insecure, frustrated, happy, excited. We all have those feelings. Those are absolutes. It's acting upon your feelings is what matters in coaching, okay? If you want to be good at something, you got to act upon it. Talking about it ain't going to do you a whole lot of good, right? You get to show up here every day and do what you love. Act upon what you feel as a coach. You're not going to be confident all the time, but you can act confident, right? You got to act differently than you feel. That's what leadership is all about. There's days where you got to run a staff meeting and you got to go over something important with a bunch of people and you don't feel great. You're sick. You're a little tired. You got 4 hours of sleep. Something's going on at home, right? You walk in that room, you owe the people in that room the respect they deserve by giving them everything you got. Right? That's what coaching is all about. And that's the first lesson I'll give you. Okay? I got a couple things for you I'm going to talk about when it comes to coaching, and then I'm going to go into what I really want to talk about, which is trying to help hitters become their own hitting coach. Okay? All right? One thing to add on what Mark was talking about. Okay? Mark was our undergraduate assistant coach last year as he finished his degree, and he's one of the best outfield guys I've ever been around. I didn't have to say a word about outfield play, and I used to work with outfielders, okay? One thing to add before I get into what I'm going to talk about, one other thing that I don't think we can ever stress enough is baseball players typically have terrible running form. You want to know why? Because when you play defense, you got to run with a glove on. You watch outfielders out there when they run, how many guys run? If you and I, who's the fastest cat we got over here? You? Okay. All right. What do you run a 60 in? 6'5". Okay. Let's say I run a 6'5" and you run a 6'5". And I say, hey, let's go, my man. Me and you on the line, mano y mano. We're going to see who's the fastest dude here. Right? And you run like this with really good form. Hip to hip, good arm swings, really good. And I run like this. Who's going to win? But how many outfielders you go out there and you watch play balls off the bat or run after the ball, and I'm left-handed, that's my glove side, and run after the ball like this? How many times you see an infielder turn around and go after a ball and he runs with his glove dead when he's going after a ball? Happens all the time. Okay? If you want to teach your guys how to run athletically in their environment, have them do sprints when you do sprints with a glove on. Encourage them to always pump their arms when they run. That's just something to add to outfield play. Okay? You got 3 types of players. And you got 3 types of coaches too. And they're exactly the same. You got 3 types of coaches, you got 3 types of players. You got the seeker. Okay? You got players that are always seeking for ways to be better. This is my process as a hitter. These are the drills that I do. This is what I do to make myself better day in and day out when I'm by myself or in a practice setting. And I'm always looking for ways to do it better. You got coaches that are the same way. This is how we run our defense. This is how we do our bunt defense. This is how we do our batting practice. This is how we do our team fundamentals. And what we did last year was pretty good. We won 47 games, 4th in the country in wins. But we didn't play in Omaha. We got to get better. We got to find a way to do what we do better, right? So good coaches, exceptional coaches, are just like exceptional players. They're always seeking the truth. They're not just trusting in tradition. Well, this is how we've worked on infield defense for 30 years and we're going to keep doing it. Or this is how we've done hitting for the last 30 years, so I'm just going to keep doing it because you got too much pride to change and do it right. You're too stubborn. Coaches are too stubborn sometimes to want to change. That makes me look bad. I done taught these guys for 5 years to swing the bat this way, and now all of a sudden I got to teach them to swing it another way? That makes me look bad as a coach. What about as a player? Well, I've been taught my whole life to swing the bat this way, field a ground ball this way, pitch this way, and all of a sudden you want me to do something different. Now it makes me look bad, right? That's the wrong mindset for a player and for a coach. We are always constantly seeking better ways to do what we do, okay? I change every year. Every year I'm going to change something, and I'm going to look to change. Now, are there staples that are tried and true that we're going to do over and over and over again? Absolutely. You're going to have your staples as a player and your pregame routine and your cage routine and your approach that you know works for you, okay? But you're always looking, how can I keep doing it better, okay? Are you a seeker? You can call it whatever you want, okay? Are you a solver? This is the next type of coach. Also with a seeker. How good are you as a coach at looking for problems before they happen? Okay? I catch myself every year. We walk out and we start doing team fundamentals and teamwork, and all of a sudden, because we lost a starter in this position, a starter in this position, maybe we lost some bullpen arms, and all of a sudden you're like, uh-oh, I got to develop a first baseman. I got to develop another catcher. I got to develop another third baseman. I don't know if I got a guy that can pitch at the back end of the bullpen. I got to start thinking about, out of my starters, I got to turn one of these guys into a closer. Can you see those things before they happen? It's just like a hitter. We're getting ready to face live arms. All I've been hitting off of is the tee. What are you going to do when that guy gets on the bump and he's throwing 90 with a hammer? Have you hit off a breaking ball machine? Have you hit off a velo? Have you trained yourself in your environment that you're going to face when that guy gets on the bump? Have I taken ground balls at gain speed? Have I done my throwing program before we start team practice so that when we start throwing ball after ball after ball across the field, my arm's ready? Can you look ahead and start to see the problems and the challenges that you're going to face as a player and as a coach before they happen? That's a challenge. That's what a seeker does. A solver. What does a solver do? Okay, there's a lot of coaches that fall in this category. There's a lot of things within my program that I fall into in this regard. Everything's going good. You're working hard. You're doing your thing as a player. You're doing your thing as a coach. And all of a sudden, you know what hits the fan, and now you got to fix it. Okay? Are you reactive as a coach? Are you reactive? As soon as you start to see something, then we got to change it. Okay? There's a lot of players like that. They go through their process as a hitter of getting ready, and all of a sudden, boom, they get in the box against a live arm, and all of a sudden, you know what? I've got to change my X, my approach, my timing, my swing. Okay? Again, you got to be able to seek more so than you got to be able to solve. Okay? And a lot of coaches are reactive. They'll wait till after a game before their team is played to evaluate their team and make changes. Okay? You need to be able to answer the questions before they happen as a coach and as a player. Be prepared by looking ahead. And last but not least, and to me, these are the players that never play a whole lot for you, and these are the coaches who wind up being very average, okay, as they're settlers. Okay? When you just settle in to one practice itinerary and one way of doing things day in and day out, you are not challenging your players to get better. If you go into the cage, you can be the hardest worker on this team. You can spend the most hours in that cage of any player on your team. And if all you do is hit off the tee, you're not going to be a great hitter. Okay? Well, that's just what I do. I never want to get out of my comfort zone. I just take ground balls off the fungo. I'm just going to hit off the tee, maybe some front toss in the cage. And as a coach, we're going to stretch and throw it this time. We're going to do defense at this time, team fundamental, BP. I'm to the house. Time for dinner. Right? And as coaches, we fall into that. We fall into the settler mentality of just doing the same thing over and over. They did a study. Okay, this is one of the changes that we've made at Clemson. Okay, they did a study at a university. Okay, where instead of putting the class notes and the syllabus for each professor's class online to give it to the players, they just told, students, they just told the students, your class is at 9 a.m. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Show up at class and you'll figure out what we're doing. Okay? Class is at 11 o'clock, Tuesday, Thursday, 11 to 12:15 at this university. Just make sure you show up to class and you'll get the information that we're going to teach that day. Okay? Guess what happened? Guess what happened? Instead of giving them and spoon feeding them all that information, there you go, Chief. You got it all. Whether you decide to come to class or not, you got all the information and you can look at it. Well, I got to show up to find out what's going on. If I'm going to learn this information, I got to go to class and I got to pay attention and I got to take notes, because otherwise I'm not going to get this information. Learning went through the roof. Okay? So all you guys who have been coaching forever, the old school way of just putting that practice itinerary up on the wall, and you know what? You know what time practice is. You make sure you get over there and read the itinerary, and guess what happens when they get out there and practice? They got to lock in and focus. We used to, and Mark's been a part of this, okay? I used to over-prepare, and I still do. And I would send out that itinerary for practice, 10 a.m. We'd get done. We'd make sure we got everything right. I'd write it up, get it the way I want it. Boom. It's out there in GroupMe, right? It's out there in GroupMe. Everybody's got it, right? Well, then we would get to our second round of batting practice, and it may be a situation around a BP. Hey, what we doing? What we got this round? And, dude, I'm telling you right now, I mean, it'd be smoke coming out of my ears, right? It'd be smoke coming out of my ears. Look here, man. It's on the back of the batting cage. You better make sure you check it before you get in here. You know what the rules are. I never had to say that when I didn't do that. When I didn't put it on GroupMe for everybody to see it before practice started, and I said, hey, there's the itinerary. It's posted. We practice at 2:30 every day. And now I take, and when we start stretching, I'm taking that itinerary and I'm putting it on the back of the turtle if we're going to hit. And it's your job. You better know what group you're in. You better know what we're doing for practice. You better know what the rounds are, because I'm not going to tell you. Right? It's just like when you're in the classroom teaching these guys. The assignments are on the board. What we're going over is on the board. Lock in and learn. Okay? Don't lose sight of that. Because when you get comfortable, the more comfortable an athlete or a student is, or you are in knowing what's coming, the less you're going to learn. The less you're going to learn. And that's hard as coaches, right? You want to give it to them all way in advance, right? I just challenge you. Just try it. Just try it. We're practicing it this time. Make sure you're there ready to go. Now when they get here, they have got to lock in, pay attention. Okay, we started doing that this year. That's made a world of difference. Now I have to give them their stretch times and wait times 2 weeks in advance by the NCAA time management plan. Okay, so I just posted it on the wall. There you go. Take a picture of it if you want it. And then I'm out. And they can look at it, and now you know what time stretch is. But I'm not going to tell you what we're doing at practice until you physically walk out there and look on that board before stretch. And I post it sometimes an hour beforehand. I'll put it out in the dugout. Let them go look. You want to go look at it? Go look at it. But I'm not going to spoon feed you all that information anymore. Okay? That's just something when it comes to learning. Okay? Again, a seeker's going new training ideas. Okay? New training ideas that fascinates a player or a coach. Problems and challenges are seen before they happen. This coach and player are enthusiastic about new ways to learn and train and grow. Okay? A solver works hard, plays hard, will not adapt until the problem arises. Okay? Settler will work only during practice. Okay? Only during practice. Use the same drills over and over. Don't challenge himself. Same practice day in, day out as a coach. Okay? Let's talk about exceptional versus average. Okay? What's the difference between being an exceptional coach and an average coach? Okay? It's all about getting fascinated or frustrated. The more frustrated you are as a coach, the worse job you're doing. It's the same way when a player shows bad body language. What is bad body language? It's frustration outwardly, right? It's just outward frustration. It's negative emotion outwardly. We all know as coaches it doesn't help, but we still get frustrated because we're competitors, right? You're going to be competitive. We're going to get ticked off when something doesn't go well, but it's how you act in that moment that's going to matter to your guys. Because I know what happens when I get ticked off in the dugout. What do they do? Hey, rah, 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 rah. And then I get mad and I start yelling or whatever, and they go, and they ain't going to say anything, right? They get real quiet real quick, and you got 5 more innings to play, right? And then you start to think as a coach, that was a mistake. That was a mistake. I should have never shown that frustration in the 3rd inning of a ball game, and we got 4 more innings to play, and my guys are scared to death. They're going to screw up now. You know, frustration's a big deal. Do you get frustrated easy, or do you get fascinated easy? You know what? I like that new drill I saw on Twitter. I like that new drill that Nelly was talking about, or that this coach was talking about at the convention. I want to look into that more and try to see if that's something we can implement. Do you get fascinated by becoming a better player, or do you get frustrated quickly? It's one or the other. The player that's constantly fascinated, the coach that's constantly fascinated by getting better is the one that's going to win you games. It's that simple, okay? Your job as a hitting coach, moving into hitting, okay? Last but not least, when it comes to coaching, whatever it is you teach, and we can sit here and debate a lot of different stuff when it comes to hitting. Swing up, swing down, swing level. I'm not getting into all that, okay? I can tell you what I believe, be more than happy to talk to you about what I believe, and it is completely okay to disagree. But respect each other and listen to each other, right? It's completely okay to teach things a different way. Heck, I teach things differently than some of my assistant coaches, and we talk about it constantly. But I'm never going to shout and yell and argue with them. It's just what I believe. But you know what the difference is? I coach with enthusiasm. As a coach, you got to coach with enthusiasm. You got to play with enthusiasm. Last 4 letters in the word enthusiasm are IASM. I am sold myself. Your players will never believe in you until they believe that you believe in it. Think about that for a minute. You want them to believe in what you teach them? The first thing you got to get them to do is to believe that you believe it. The more you show a player that I believe in this, man, I believe in what we're about to do, guess what happens? They buy in. They buy in so much more when they believe that you believe in it. And the only way you're going to get there is if you teach them with enthusiasm. If you don't teach it with enthusiasm, they're not going to believe that you believe in it. Mark's been in our meetings. I'll start yelling and screaming and get them all fired up, right? But I'm passionate about what I believe in. I'll try to get them fired up when it comes to how we swing the bat, okay? I want them to see my passion and my enthusiasm because I want them to know that I'm sold myself. Whatever you coach, and we're talking about hitting here in just a bit, when you coach hitting, okay, you got to show them that you believe in it, that you're sold yourself. You teach yourself the way you're about to coach them, okay? Let's talk about hitting. Single most important thing that a hitter's got to understand if he's going to become his own hitting coach, single most important thing he's got to understand is he's got to be able to hit a plus fastball. Hitting all starts with being able to hit a good fastball. I don't care what anybody else says, you're never going to get me to change my mind on that. If you can hit an above average fastball consistently hard, you can play the game for a long time. If you cannot hit velocity, you can have the best swing in the world, you can have the best body in the world, it doesn't matter. That 60 times not going to matter. How hard you throw the ball across the infield is not going to matter. If you can't hit a good fastball, none of that matters. As a hitter, elite hitters hit fastballs and hit them consistently hard. So what does that tell us as a coach and as a player? You better train in that environment. And let me tell you something, training in that environment is messy, and it's hard, and it's challenging. And if your drills aren't hard and challenging and messy, and have a lot of failure in them, do you really think it's going to translate to that box? That guy's got to walk in that box, and he's got to face that stud on Friday night throwing 91, 94, 92, 95 with a power slider and a changeup. You think that training him with front flips and T-work's going to get him ready for that? No, it ain't. It ain't. Okay? Can you hit a plus fastball? Everything that you do as a coach better be geared towards with the mindset of, am I training this guy to turn the barrel fast enough to get to a good fastball? Okay? Where does it all start? It all starts with an athletic base. Hitting is the single hardest thing to do in all the sports. If you don't have an athletic base to start with, if you don't move athletically and at foot strike when you're in a power position, if you're not in an athletic base, you're going to have a hard time reacting to a good fastball on time. Okay? So it's all about athleticism to begin with when we talk about putting the body in a position to hit a good fastball. What does an athletic base look like? It's universal. It's universal. You've heard it everywhere, and I don't need to keep going over it, okay? But here's what I know, and you can use a lot of different analogies. I'll use one that I've started to use that I think is real valuable, okay? Let's say any coach, stand up. Come here, okay? Stand right there, okay? If you're standing right there and you got a 15-pound med ball in your hand and you're getting ready to throw that med ball at me, okay, how am I going to stand? I'm going to stand like this. I'm getting ready, right? Okay. And when you throw me that ball, if there's a wall right there and you said, hey, Monte, catch this med ball and I want you to throw it as hard as you can in that wall. Do you think I'm going to do that with rotational power? Coaches, players, you think that's rotational power in its essence? So if you throw me that ball, I'm going to catch that ball and I'm in an athletic stance. And I don't have to think about how to stand. I certainly ain't going to stand like this, right? I certainly ain't going to stand like this, okay? I'm not going to stand like that. How am I going to stand? Let's go. Throw me the med ball. Let's go. I catch it, and what am I going to do with that med ball once I catch it? I'm going to load into my back hip. You see that? What am I going to do with my scap, back of my shoulder? I'm going to tighten it up. And I'm going to throw that thing as hard as I can into the wall. Okay? Y'all understand that? Thank you. So, if I hold a med ball and I throw it, that's rotational power in its essence. Becoming your own hitting coach. Let me show you something that's very important when it comes to being a hitter. When I load, it's the same process. When I catch that med ball, okay, I'm not turning my shoulders too much. Why? because when I throw it, I'm going to over-rotate. Okay? Another thing I'm not going to do when I catch that med ball, I'm not going to catch it and shift my weight like this. Right? I'm going to hinge my hip. My head is going to stay over my belly button. Hinge my hip. I'm going to load. One thing that I will feel when I load that med ball to throw it is my heel digging into the ground. I'm going to load into the ground. I'm going to load into the ground. Okay? Now I just change where my hands are. Okay? 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 That's swinging a bat fast and powerfully. And that's as easy as I can teach you when it comes to hitting. All right? Well, if I want to time a plus fastball, and let's say, what's the thing you see most often with hitters when it comes to timing a plus fastball? They're late. They're late more than they're on time. Timing's been an issue for hitters for over 100 years, right? So don't we want to create a swing that when we're off time, when we're late, we can still catch the baseball and hit it hard? I think so, right? So why do we want the shaft to shoulder as we're bringing the barrel through? Pyramid of power, I'm late. My bat right now, guys, is behind the point of the plate. My bat is still behind the plate. If I'm late, what am I going to do with that pitch? Bammo. Well, fellas, the double down that line counts just like the double down that line, and a home run over the fence over there counts the same as a home run over the fence there. There's a lot of guys that turn the barrel the right way that when they're late on the fastball, they'll drill a ball out of the ballpark or hit a double down the right field line because they're late, right? But they got a good bat path, okay? So again, shaft to shoulder, you'll see with good hitters is that elbow. Once that bat is turning, that elbow will connect to the rib cage, and at that point, you're just turning that barrel fast. Whether you think legs, whether you think core, whether you think hands, it's really irrelevant to me. Okay, I believe the hips take the hands to the ball. That's what I believe. Why? Because when I get in that position right there, okay, my hips are going to turn the barrel. One thing I don't like, and I see this with hitters, when it comes to bat path, is if their entry into the hitting zone comes in front of their back shoulder. If you see the entry of the bat come in front of their back shoulder, I call it crossing their backside or pushing the knob. That's a big term right now, pushing the knob of the bat to the ball. We used to call it just crossing the backside. If you see the hands come here, they're going to run out of space to hit the ball. The only place they're going to hit the ball hard is out front. You see a kid that hits a lot of ground balls to the pull side of the field, he's probably entering the zone in front of his back shoulder or crossing his backside or pushing the knob, whatever you want to call it. Okay? All right? Approach. Yes, yes, no. Give you a great example of this when it comes to approach. We've played 3 weekends. First weekend, nothing but fastballs. Second weekend, fastball changeup. Third weekend, all 3 mix. Okay? Guess what happened when it went all 3 mix? Hiya, hiya, hiya. Right? Because my guys are like, ooh, shaboom. God dang, man. It's like 94 to 81, right? Happens to hitters, right? What do you think happened first weekend when it was all fastballs? Boom! Boom! All over the field. Freshman 2-0. Let's go, Jack. Here it is. Boom! See ya. Right? I mean, we must have hit 10 home runs in 2 games. And it didn't matter what the count was. 1-2? Okay, 1-2. I know what he's throwing. He's throwing a fastball. Whammo! Oppo tanks. Why? And then this weekend, I think we hit 1 home run. Okay, why? I'm just asking a question. Why? Because guys got off their fastball timing. Bottom line, it wasn't like they just went up there and, hey guys, it's all breaking balls this weekend. You know, we're just going to spin, 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 spin. No, it was fastball, fastball, breaking ball. Change up, breaking ball, right? Fastball. They were still getting 3 fastballs out of 5 pitches, but just that wrinkle threw their timing off, put the fear in the back of their mind. God dang, He may throw me a breaking ball right here, right? The variables changed, right? That's why you're always yes, yes, no to his best fastball. I would rather you swing through a breaking ball with your best bat speed and slow your bat down and put a breaking ball in play. Why? Because if you consistently make weak contact, you're not going to score runs. And you can say, well, high school guys can't catch the ball. That's like putting a Band-Aid over a bullet hole. Okay? I don't believe in that. I believe you should always teach guys to hit the ball hard, regardless of what level they teach. It's a yes, yes, no, be on time to the best fastball. Look for pitches you can hit hard in the middle of the field. You know your timing's good when you're hitting balls hard into the middle of the field. If I'm early, I'm going to pull the ball. If I'm late, I'm going to hit the ball the other way. If I'm on time, I'm going to hit a lot of balls gap to gap into the middle of the field. That's been true for over 100 years. Well, how do we get there consistently? It's hard. It's really hard. This is one of those things I think you have to stick with. Okay, what I teach or what I've taught for years, okay, was as soon as the pitcher breaks his hands, I start my load. And then I'll work off of that. So if I got a guy and I'm watching him and I'm filming him in slow motion, I'm watching the video, pitcher lifts his leg to balance point, breaks his hands, and he's loading up and he strides and he's still late on fastballs. Now, when he moves, you move, okay? He's starting to pick his foot up, I start loading up. I have to. You have to find what timing mechanism works for you. The elite hitter can wait longer. The elite hitter, a lot of times, you see Trout and those guys, I mean, the pitcher will literally be right here before they even start moving. They got so much bat speed. But they know what their timing mechanism is to get to his best fastball. I think you start on the break of the pitcher's hands so you can be on time. That starts in BP. Now we have something that we focus on in our BP every day. Throwing BP, I break my hands, I throw the ball. Load. Load. Right? Now you can base it off of that. Okay? It has not done before to accomplish that task, and it will clean my arm action up. It'll make it where I'll throw the ball mechanically correct. We have a lot of position players throw weighted balls to try to clean up arm actions. Okay? If you put a weighted bat in a player's hand, all of a sudden that thing weighs 35 ounces, 45 ounces, and you do T work with a heavy bat, it will force you, the player, a new pathway within their central nervous system to turn that bat efficiently. Okay? It's a different variable. That bat's heavy. Now I've got to turn it efficiently to be able to hit the ball. You put a heavy bat in a player's hand and he does that, he ain't going to hit it very hard. He will not hit it very hard. Okay? So we do some drills with heavy bat. We believe in a heavy bat. We do. Okay? Does that mean that you need to do it every single day? I don't know if you need to do it every day, but I'll say this, the most improved hitter that we had from one year to the next was Kyle Wilkie. Kyle Wilkie couldn't hit water if he fell out of a boat when he was a freshman. Okay, last year he was third team all ACC. He led us in hitting with runners in scoring position. How did he do it? He literally took the bat, flattened the bat down behind him so he could get on plane early. Okay, and he swung a heavy bat from that position until he got to the point where his bat path was clean enough to strike the ball consistently. Okay, he had good hands and eyes. He could put the ball in play, just hit the ball weak. Put a heavy bat in his hand, his body got stronger. He got where he could turn that heavy bat and contact the ball and hit it harder. Okay, so we do a lot of heavy bat work with tee and side toss. I actually like side toss as a drill. Okay, so we do a lot of heavy bat implementations, and we'll do it from different positions. Okay, and I'm sure you've seen some of these drills. First thing we do with a heavy bat is we lay it on their shoulder. We either lay it on their shoulder or I connect it to the back of their shoulder, one or the other. Okay, one or the other. Why? Because I want to take this out of it. I want to take the hands out of it so they can feel their body rotate efficiently. Okay, we call that the connection drill. So the first thing that I'll do with a guy with a heavy bat, we'll lay that bat here. Okay, I'll turn the knob a little bit to the catcher. Okay, and all I'll tell them to do is leave that bat on your shoulder and swing the bat from there. And you'll naturally turn the barrel pretty efficiently. Okay, you can't go like that. keep the bat on my shoulder and swing it from there. We literally will have guys do that, and they'll do a lot of drills just from that position to feel their body turn the barrel efficiently. Okay? So we'll do tee, side toss. You can do front toss. I'm not a big believer in front toss. I just don't think that hitting from that angle is a good idea. Pitchers don't throw from there. They do in softball, not in baseball. Okay? So once we go from there, and even to really feel it, take the stride out too. Connect the bat to the body. That's why it's called a connection drill. We're connecting the bat to the body so that the body will turn the barrel. Okay? And then all I'm going to do, if you want them to pick your foot up and turn it, that's fine. So they can feel that turn. Okay? Then we'll open them. Okay? 45 open. Okay? Why do we do this? This simulates a ball that I'm hitting hard the opposite field. Tee's right here. Okay? We'll do the same thing and hit it up the middle. Okay? Net's right there, tee's right there. Or side toss from here. Again, what move do I have to make with my hip? Okay? I have to load into my hip. You want them to feel the hip hinge? Have them load here and hit through the ball. What hurts them on a fastball away? When they work around it. Okay? You cannot work around it and hit this ball. Your path has to be directly through the ball. Okay? We'll finish up. This is the hardest one, in my opinion. We'll 45 closed and have them pull the ball. Okay? Same thing. Okay? To feel their turn. Those are 3 drills that we do off a tee or side toss. Okay? That I like a lot. Challenging a hitter. If you're going to throw BP, throw it short and throw it firm. Throw it short and throw it firm. We do angle BP off a hack attack. We'll do a junior hack attack. If you ever want to see it, you're more than welcome to come to Clemson and watch us do it. A lot of our hitters love it because it really helps them feel a short path to the ball, a quick turn to the ball. Okay? We will literally set a junior hack attack at 35 feet. I would suggest you start it at 40. Okay? But do it at 35 feet, put it on the fastball setting in the baseline. We do it that deep. Literally in the first base baseline. And I will shoot the ball. The ball will be coming literally back here. Okay? And I'll have them hit. Okay? We put it in the machine, and they got to hit that ball over the L screen or over the screen. Hit it where it came from. And let me tell you something about outfield play tied into it. You put your outfielders out there, when they figure out how to hit it, some of our stronger guys will hit bombs to the opposite field. Okay? It's just like hitting a ball at the middle. The ball's just coming from a different spot. When they figure it out, I'm telling you, if they got a disconnected swing, if they got a swing, disconnection to me is anytime the elbow gets away from the rib cage in the swing. Okay? If they disconnect their swing on that drill, they'll hit it up the middle on the ground. So if you keep shooting that angle, and you can throw BP from that angle, or you can front toss from that angle to get a feel for it first, that's fine. Okay? But we literally will load and hit that ball and try to hit it where it came from. But you got to put it deep. If you put it between the mound and first base, like right there, it's not as effective, in my opinion. We're trying to get a fast turn. Okay? So we'll put a junior hack there, and then I'll put a big hack on the big mound, or a BP pitcher on the straight ahead, and now he'll throw balls middle in, and they got to turn and pull it. Okay? If you really want to get crazy and have some fun, we'll put a barricade wall to the pull side. Okay? What's a barricade wall? Okay? If the BP pitcher's throwing, say at 35 feet, we'll put a big base screen right there, across all the way to the baseline. Literally, I'm sorry to get long-winded. So like if I'm throwing BP from right here, okay, we'll put a base screen like right here. Okay? Right-handed hitter's up. He'll get angle BP from there. Coach pitch from right there, and he's got to hit it. When he pulls it, he's got to get it over the barricade wall. What does that do? Okay, when I first saw it, I was like, dude, we're gonna be having guys doing this, trying to get the ball over it. You can hit singles in the left field from that angle. They are not going to hit the ball as high as you think, but I'll tell you what they will do If they disconnect or they swing down on the ball, they're just going to hit balls right into that screen. Talk about a challenge. Go from an angle where you're hitting it over the L screen or into the L screen that way to a BP pitcher throwing this way, and now you got to pull it and be able to turn the barrel. It's pretty fun to watch. And when guys get a feel for it, their swings are pretty good. Okay? The ultimate challenge is to go from there to there, there to there. It's two extremes. And we do a ton of work in the middle of the field. All our BP is middle of the field. Okay? But when we're working on the bat path, we will do the extreme of the angle to BP with a barrier wall. Okay? And it works pretty good. That constraint of the barrier wall will get guys swinging the bat correctly. Okay? Last but not least, when your teams are taking BP, okay, I believe in high to low or low to high. Okay? When we take BP, if I'm working on hitting the ball to right field, if I'm a right-handed hitter, I want to hit low line drives that way. Okay? From the second baseman's head down. Even a hard ground ball. Oh my God. We actually hit a ground ball. Like, everybody's so anti-ground ball. Guys, there's a lot of ground balls that win you a ton of ball games. You get a runner at third and one out, you're praying for a guy that can get up there and hit you a ground ball in the middle of the field, or a ground ball to the shortstop, second baseman. Okay? I'm not anti-ground ball. We just don't hit ground balls when we train our swing. There's a difference between situational hitting and trying to train the swing. Okay? So when we work the other way, I want to hit line drives. Here's what we call it. Basically, can you hit a line drive to the opposite field that has enough pace to roll all the way to the fence? That's when you know you can hit a ball hard the other way. Can I hit a line drive to the opposite field that's got enough pace to roll all the way to the fence if an outfielder wasn't standing out there? When we hit the ball into the middle of the field, we're gap to gap, we're trying to see how many doubles we can hit. Okay? When we work through the middle of the field, the best cue you can give a hitter is hit the top bar of the L screen. That's all the launch angle talk you need to have. Like, I don't believe in launch angle. Why talk about launch angle? Just hit line drives. You know, every ball's got a launch angle. I don't even use that term, okay? We try to hit line drives. We just like to try to hit them over the outfielder's head. Don't need to talk, I don't understand the whole craze about people talking about launch angle. It's been launch angles forever. Hit line drives, okay? If you hit a weak fly ball, it's an out. If you hit a weak ground ball, it's an out. If you hit a line drive, you're probably getting on base. That's what I do know, okay? When you pull the ball, I want to hit the ball over the pull side outfielder's head because I want that ball to have backspin, okay? Now, does that mean that he can't hit a line drive in the left field? Sure, okay? But my goal when we're working on our swing, if we're going to work on pulling the ball, we want to work on getting the ball, hitting a line drive over his head, okay? That's how we work on BP. So what does my BP look like? That's why I call it high to low. If you're looking at it from behind home plate, if it's away, I want a low line drive, gap to gap, and then as you work to the pull side, I want it in the air more. Because if I'm hitting low line drives to the pull side, what are they? What's a low line drive typically to the pull side? It's going to have top spin on it, right? Typically, unless you swing down and clip it, right? Okay? Anybody got any questions for me? First off, thank y'all for having me. Appreciate y'all's time today.